Hello, this is ToonFest for Charity After Hours, May 2023. We kind of planned this at the last minute. I'm here with Michael. um,
Hello.
yeah, so today was just day one of ToonFest at MomoCon. Also the same time as Toontown Birthday, or is it ToonFest Birthday Bash? I forgot how they called it. Toontown Birthday Bash.
I have no idea myself, to be completely honest with you.
So our plan for right now is to just relax and catch up on what happened at the convention, starting with the welcome ceremony and the Behind the Tooniverse panel. In case you're keeping up or just trying to catch up right now, we'll be doing that in a moment right now. We're just going to wait for people to come in. This is really a very much last minute kind of deal.
Absolutely.
I do have a party set up here, and we might do some speculation to what might they have for tomorrow's panel called What's Next for Toontown?
Which I didn't know they were even having a panel tomorrow, so
yeah, let's
joke's
go
on
bring
me.
up the schedule right now, actually. There's someone here already in Toontown in the game, but I'm going to go hide that for a bit so I can go over to the schedule. And that'll be right here. So today they basically covered Welcome to ToonFest. There's a trivia bash, swapped times with Behind the Tooniverse. Tomorrow will be Fish Bingo in the morning. What's next for Toontown? Creating the Cogs, Trolley Championship, and apparently there might be like something that might be announced for like what's coming up next for like TTR or something. They had like this whole gimmick thing on the Toontown Ruin website. There's a blog post about gimmick intercepting a message from the chairman. And that sounds kind of exciting, but I'm not sure if they're actually planning something in-game because that would be a lot of work. Probably just a preview of what's coming up. As for the ToonFest for Charity schedule, we have that at schedule.toonffc.org.
That is correct.
And
it's still kind of coming along.
Empty. Yeah.
It's coming along. A lot of this is kind of just like throwing things together, a bit of a dress rehearsal, if you will. We're kind of just getting our feet wet, getting ready for the real charity grind later this year.
Okay. So that's the ToonFest schedule. Our schedule is just try to ride on the coattails of the 20 years of Toon. When is it actually 20 years, by the way? I'm sure it's in June or something.
I don't know when the actual month was, but it is 2003.
Someone's passing me
there's a beach ball coming your way. No, 2003 was the big year, I believe.
When were the beach balls added?
I can't tell you. I actually have no idea.
Well, who put these here? I wonder.
How are the physics with them?
Oh, you're gonna have to log in game to find out because it's kind of interesting. You click a button, and then you have this thing, and then you can just toss it and make sure someone can catch it. Gets huge. I bumped them. You could also just
actually move them? Wow.
You can just nudge. Okay. I have to be careful of these because you could actually lose them in this one zone where they can fall down. I think it's on the other side. There's a beach ball stuck in there. I don't know when they added that. There's like Michael and I are like catching up. It's been a while since we've been playing. I don't know. You played Corporate Clash though recently, right?
I played it a little bit ago. I want to experiment with getting that running on the Steam Deck. TTR runs really well, so
okay.
I need to experiment with Corporate Clash next. I think that'd be fun.
Okay. So right now we're gonna go into what happened earlier today and see basically the opening ceremony. I think they just talked about like, I don't know. Let's just watch it right now.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome to ToonFest.
We can react right now. Whoa.
Yeah,
well, our sounds are going through.
It sounded like there's a pretty good amount of people there.
There's going to be a couple more of these throughout the weekend, but we appreciate your patience. We appreciate you hanging out. First of all, this is the first Toon Fest that we've done in 4 years, which is, and it's a very special Toon Fest, not only because of that, but because this year is the 20th anniversary of Disney's Toontown Online. And so for the 20th anniversary, we have gone bigger and better than ever. As you can see, this is the biggest space that we've ever had. It's the most immersive space that we've ever had. We have more merchandise that is totally free for you to take than we've ever had. And we're going to have tons of awesome panels, surprises, and just a blast this weekend. So I'm here really just to kind of give you an overview of what the weekend will look like. First, if you haven't done so already,
if I asked
totally
politely,
grab this very awesome
they would ship me like a rock or something from like outside the convention center for like a keepsake.
What?
I mean, he just said there's a lot of stuff that they could take.
Yeah, a nice little
Like, I'm not there, so
And this has your total event guide to Toon Fest.
I would accept a rock.
The first page kind of tells you about what
This
activities
really
you can
reminds me.
expect
Okay,
here.
so
We have Toontown board games over here.
I actually
We've
got
some art tables over there.
the,
We have
the
games,
CD,
stations on both sides,
and it had the
laptops,
jewel
mods,
art.
and play with each other in person. And
Smirky showed a close-up view on his stream, and it really like sent me back. It's like this feels like that, but with like a Toontown in
right
twist.
Now, at totally 2:30 and not 3:08 is the Welcome to Toon Fest panel. Next up at 4, we're going to be heading to the panels 314, which is one floor up from here. That's where we're going to be doing Toontown trivia. I am sure that many of you, if you're here today, have an immense wealth of Toontown knowledge living in your brain, and this is the place to put it to the test. There's going to be some awesome prizes. It's going to be fun, so please be sure to be there. And then lastly, a really exciting thing tonight is we are having the original development team from Toontown Online is going to be tuning in to answer your questions. So we have Jesse Schell, Sean Patton, Joe Shockett, Gaido, Ellen, Regine, a whole bunch of awesome people. You'll meet them later. It's the biggest assembly of Toontown Online original developers that we've ever had, and they are very excited to be a part of it. I've been talking to them. They are just ecstatic about Toon Fest, and it's going to be great. So that'll be up in panels 306 for that one. So there's other very fun events throughout the weekend, but the other nice thing in this booklet is the Toon Fest Task Force activity. This is based off of the Cellbot Task Force, for those of you who have played through it. And the Toon Resistance is kind of set up shop here at Toon Fest. We have a bunch of Toon tasks for you to complete. As you complete them, go up to our lovely Toontown written staff members up here at our booth, and they'll give you a stamp. And when you collect all 10 stamps, as well as fill up your fun meter every time you have some fun, then you get a, sorry, I wish I had 3 hands here, a special Toon Fest pin. This is exclusive to this weekend.
They really should have given him a mic stand or something there.
So be sure to complete your 2 tasks.
This is like at the booth.
We also have lots of other awesome merch. I'm sure that you
You
guys
can-
have seen it already.
You can hold a mic
Of
stand.
course,
It's
every
pretty
year,
portable.
We always have our Toontown trading cards. This is a tradition that we've kept up since Toontown Online. And you may notice that there's only 2 new designs right now. We have the Toontanic trading card, which was voted on by all of you in the community. And then we have the Toon Council presidential election card, which is a special card. We even have 2 versions of it. One of them has this awesome shiny border, which is again is a exclusive to Toonfest. And you might be wondering, why don't we have a 3rd design? It's because the 3rd design is a secret that you'll be learning about later this weekend when we give out the 3rd card. So be on the lookout for that. Also, we have this cog coaster.
Cognation.
Very cool. You can strap it on your chest.
What does
for
it mean?
Cosplay if you want, or use it for a beverage. Nice can of oil. And the Cellbot Task Force stickers.
They have a lot of
and
space
tons
here
of
for
other
this
stuff that
booth.
we've had from
They
past
really
Toonfest
do.
as well. We're giving it all away. We don't want any of it at the end of the weekend, so please take it, enjoy it, hang it up on your walls, and just have a great time with it.
I see a seltzer bottle
with that
plushie.
said, if you ever have any questions about Toonfest come up to any of these folks in blue shirts. We are happy to help you out. We're happy to take pictures with you. Happy to talk to you about the game because we're here to celebrate as much as you are. We want you to just have the best weekend ever. It's a really special time to be a Toontown fan, and I am so glad that you are all here to celebrate with us. I do want to give a really big special thanks to all of the Toontown Rewritten team members who have made this possible. This has been months and months of work to put on, lots of money invested into it, both for travel and just getting all this stuff together. Also for MomoCon, who has been gracious enough to host us here. They have been amazing hosts so far. I think it's going to be
Where is MomoCon at right now?
Atlanta, Georgia, I believe.
Yeah, I would not make the trek. I probably could, but I probably won't live.
We're so happy that you're spending the weekend with us. And
I wanna make it to one of these. I don't know. I feel like
would you drive or would you fly?
Drive.
What is wrong with you?
Okay, so when I I'll talk about this later.
I don't know if you've seen anyone, but I think we've had a bit of a cog invasion. So I'm going to direct your attention over here, where
Do you have somebody dressed up as a cog?
he must be coming down
I hear the music
right now.
I see the candles on that cake though. 20 hours, 20 years. Where is he?
So Flunky will be around for the next 30
I don't
minutes
see
or
him.
so. You can take pictures with him. You can hang out.
I see Smirky though.
Try not to get Gags too close to him because he's still getting used to the idea of that. But he'll be hanging out up here. You're welcome to take.
Sounds like something I would say. That was me at the convention
And
saying
Flunky
hi.
will be back throughout the weekend. So if you don't get a photo now,
Oh, there he
don't
is.
worry. We're stuck with him. Now, the very last thing I have for all of you is as a special thanks for being here for this panel, we have a piece of merchandise that you can only get right here, right now, and that is a Toontown Rewritten lanyard. So we've already seen, us staff members wearing these. You're welcome to swap out your MomoCon lanyard for it.
Remember at Anime X, I was like, I don't like this fate, whatever
Yeah,
lanyard this
didn't
was.
you and I? Oh wait, no, you and Adrian swapped, I think.
Yeah.
Two lines, one on
That
this
was fun.
side and one on this side. And you can come up to our friends or Liv.
All right.
And they
That was the
will
welcoming ceremony.
take a photo with Flunky while you're up here as well. And don't
That's
worry,
for the
there's
booth.
plenty of food
Up next is going to be behind the Tooniverse. But I kind of want to discuss
Thank you all
about
so much for being
like
here. It's going to be a great weekend.
what they have
And I'm gonna
planned
end it by
and
asking
like
you, are you
stuff.
tuning up? All right. Thanks everyone. See you later.
This burger's walking.
All right.
So that was the part one of the replay. There's this thing about making the trek over from West Coast to convention on the other side of the coast. And I'm like, I had this plan earlier to not earlier. It was like my friends and I, and it was just to visit all 50 states when we graduate high school, and it didn't happen. Like a road trip throughout all 50 states, and it didn't happen.
I think it's a little bit too ambitious, but
It was, but that was the fun of it. We tried downgrading it to like, oh, just visit the neighboring states, but that didn't work out either. And we're like, man, this sucks. And this is at around the same time that we had TTR and the play line, and basically they were just getting the game up and getting that going. And then it was ToonFest at Replay FX. And I kind of really wanted to go, but I couldn't, so here I am. ToonFest for charity. So they've been doing a ToonFest at a convention for like 15, 16, how many years? 8?
the rewritten team or just in general?
A rewritten team.
I don't think 8. They had a 4-year hiatus.
Oh, right.
So 19, 20, 21, 22, they didn't have anything. I think 19 is they just kind of decided, yeah, we're just going to take the year off in order to focus on development. And then 2020 was, well, COVID, and that kind of took them out of action for until the end of 2022. So it's nice for them to be able to kind of come together and get things organized to come back to a convention and do something. I'm happy for them. Now, I have to admit, from the get-go, my feelings have kind of changed. I kind of thought it was a waste of time, but when you think about it, what keeps this entire game alive is the community. And giving back to the community and celebrating the entire game and everything about it is what allows it to thrive even further. So I'm happy for the team. I'm happy they were able to get everything together and come back. So it's nice to see there's a lot of excitement.
I am kind of excited too, especially for tomorrow. I don't know what they're gonna do actually.
Whatever they do, I hope that that everybody has fun. I think
sound?
that's the major thing.
There was just like a poof in game that someone was teleported. I don't know what that was. I think a beach ball just exploded or something.
You know, one of these like, it's just gonna be a random minute one time. I'm gonna use the soundboard on Discord.
Oh, I prepared for this. I was actually messing around with that, trying to make sure I could do like so you could see the Discord with my OBS and what people are seeing on stream in real time. Is there anything you're excited about for basically Friday's setup on the schedule?
I'd like to know whatever they have new coming up. I think everybody is probably looking at that the most.
Would you like to do some IRL fish bingo? Just catch the next flight and end up over at the other side of the United States.
I have a lovely 4-day weekend coming up, but that 4-day weekend is going to be involving me, my bed, and some snacks. Toontown is not involved, but thank you for the invite, one time.
Okay, how about the weekend? Basically.
Wait, are they? Yeah, they're actually going to do a real life fish bingo.
Yeah, it's a wake up at Toontown booth each morning. But after that is what's next. So they put in a tune in to the panel. I'm guessing field offices leading into the chairman. Wow, that's interesting.
Right. It's a good guess there, Ash.
Had that in the chat. Oh, I have chat up. Okay, after hours.
I've got the chat up one time. Do not worry, I will make funny voices for everybody that speaks.
Okay.
I'm not actually going to do that, but yeah. So that's I think that's something that a lot of people are thinking about. I think I even saw Ash tweet that out, so I can kind of roll with that. But maybe some quality of life. You know, I think something that a lot of people kind of miss out on. I know that Corporate Clash tackled quality of life in their own way. What are some things that maybe you think that quality of life wise Toontown Rewritten could maybe alter? That's something that people don't think of. People usually think of, oh, what are they adding? Well, what are they going to change? How about that?
I got nothing. I'm more into like making sure the game runs fine. Right now, or like a few days ago, they had some stability issues with their server service that provides the connections and all that.
I think they could build on that. I think Rewritten did a fantastic job of bringing a really good game mode to the table, and what they did there with Selvon.
Okay. Is the
What's
parties thing just a district thing?
Yeah, it's via district.
Via district. Okay, I'm a client one. I'm gonna start a party, and I'm surprised that there are no parties going on right now for Birthday Bash.
Well, yeah, everybody's there.
Everybody's there except for us. All right, that's why I had this prepared. I got a party going. I don't know how this works. It's been a while since I did this. I'm gonna go start one. There we go. Here it is. Start party.
You just have one ready to go?
Yeah. Hi, Billy. Bye, Billy. What was Ashkowski saying? I could see his name in my laptop at the other side of my room.
He says my number one is merit grinding. Merit grinding is awful in TTR compared to most other versions that have existed up Toontown. So, yeah, I think either changing the grind, maybe not necessarily reducing it is one thing, but why not change it or give other opportunities for all other forms of that grind? Make it more enjoyable, less of a grind. Maybe don't change the numbers, change how you're acquiring them. That's quality of life right there.
I'm not a game designer.
I'm not either. I'm just a boring office worker.
That's why I think any ideas I can think of is just just like have a nice game where yes. Shall we continue on to the panel called Behind the Tooniverse?
Yeah, I think we should see what they were saying and get a little caught up. You were watching a little bit of this.
Yeah, I was watching, make sure it's something I could to be fine, to nothing went wrong. I know at the start of the VOD it's going to be very, very quiet, and that will be reflected on here as we watch the replay. So yeah, let's get to it.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, we're going to be reacting to this right now. Let me hide my name over here from the thing. So this one's Behind the Tooniverse. What was it called? What was the thing called again?
The birthday bash?
Yeah, it was like a birthday bash. Bash.
Behind
the Tooniverse. All right. So this is a replay. This is not live. And mostly Michael's going to be the one reacting to it. All right, you can hear there's no music actually in this VOD. There we go.
Oh.
Now it's very quiet, so I'm going to boost it up.
I did hear they had technical issues to start.
Yeah.
Development, programming, design, and left in 2000.
I feel like the start menu was getting me, not the start menu, at the start was very
What about you, Alan?
dizzying.
I was brought in.
I'm bringing a gain here for you.
2003, right when the beta was launching, I believe the second beta, I guess that would have been. And I was a community manager for several years.
Oh, lovely.
And
Sorry.
really tried to champion a
perfect.
Toon Fest for many years before we got one, and I'm super excited that we're here. I did all the trading cards and I worked on printing the trading cards and sending them out to everyone.
I think it's really
and
cool
running
that
all the contests
these are 8
and
people that he was able to gather. There's him in the corner.
all the fun community stuff, and I'm really excited.
And speaking of contests, you reminded me, Alan, a couple
8
of
people?
you folks have been judging.
Oh,
the
it
He
is
brought
8.
on 8
right?
people, right?
Yes.
So I know, Ellen.
I mean,
what
Jesse he
category
works
are you
with,
judging for the
but
Toonies?
I am judging
to
the video
kind of
category,
gather these
and
people
Do we-
back for this
Do we
was
have
actually
any
pretty
people in the
impressive.
room
Yeah, this is
for the
really
video
cool.
category? All right, yeah, we've got a couple hands here. All right, and then Sean.
I'm just
what
being on the
category are you
lookout for
judging?
when they actually adjust the audio, which will get very loud for us. So I need to be on my toes for this.
Excellent entries, look delicious. Wish I could have eaten
So
them, but
I think they're
just had to
talking
sort
about
of
the
get real hungry and
Toonies.
have dessert after I looked at them.
Okay.
And Jesse, what about you?
I judge the limerick category.
All right. And then next, she hasn't introduced herself yet, but she is a Toonies judge as well. Bridget, how about you?
My name is Bridget Kanoka, and I am judging the accessories competition. And I was an art director, and first I started out as an artist in 2003 and worked as an artist for a long time, and then was an associate art director. So.
All right.
Yeah.
And Mike, would you mind introducing yourself as well?
Toonies
Sure.
are
My name's Mike
Saturday.
Goslin. I was around at the very
4 p.m.
beginning.
Eastern.
I helped pitch the game to the Disney management, convinced them to let us do it. And I think at the time I may have been the head of the studio, or I don't know. It was sort of a weird time. I eventually became the head of the studio, but at that time I'm not sure if I was. So my role at that, if I wasn't, then my role would have been, I guess, I think I had a technical role. I was lead technical or something like that. I don't remember what my title was.
And Mike, I'm just going to call out you did something quite famous on Toontown.
Oh, what was that?
There's a certain Toon task that you were personally responsible for.
Oh yeah. I wrote the little old man stuff. Everybody.
Wow,
I'm sure you guys all got to enjoy that.
that's the sound you hear when you throw the
Everybody's
bowling
favorite
ball
Toon
backwards in
task,
Wii
yeah.
Sports.
Yeah. I remember the day you did that. It was hilarious.
That was me. Well, we had, because Joe had written the quest system, and then we had to like fill it all out, and so everybody took a neighborhood, and I got the bird.
Okay, there they go.
And I figured it needed to be pretty hard
Ah.
because it's a bird. It's like second to last neighborhood, so you're welcome, everybody.
Right at the little old man test, they boosted up.
All right, Regine, what about you? You mind introducing yourself?
Hello, I'm Reg. I was very early in my career when I started with the team. Met Ellen on my first day of work, and I can tell you honestly, every person on this call taught me something very interesting. But beyond that, I was with them for 4 years, and I did support.
I
And
feel like
wrote,
it's a bit
believe it or
inconsistent.
not,
I'm
this is
trying
my
to
favorite
fight
part,
it.
is I wrote top tunes.
It's all good.
So all
think
of
I'll stop.
the things that you guys were fishing and you were collecting jelly beans and you were trying to outdo each other, it happened because Roger kind of tossed a book on my desk and said, "We need some leaderboards, but we don't have time to build them in game. What do you think you can do?" And the answer was, "Oh, I'll try." So yeah, that's kind of I
Someone's
think
at my
owe
party.
my career to the people on this call. So thank you.
Awesome.
I kind of forgot you were even having the party.
I heard a cannon just explode. I was like, wait, who's the...
Yeah, there were a lot of people, I think, expressing delight and fond memories as soon as you mentioned top tunes. So, and last but not least, I'm sorry, I have only talked to you online, so please let me know if I pronounce this wrong. Galledo, is that right?
Galledo, yeah.
Cool. Would you mind introducing yourself as well?
Yeah, hi, my name is Galledo John, and I joined the VR Studio in 2007, and I stayed until the last. And I was a programmer working on level editor, and I worked on the accessory system, then minimap, and things like that.
All right. Well, let's give one more hand for all of our awesome Toontown Online developers.
That's quite the group, though. I'm glad that like they were willing to come on board.
And now,
with this.
Jesse, I understand you've brought something special with you to this panel, something never before seen by Toontown fans.
It is true, and I was going to show some of that. So I was going to go through. I was going to tell some stories, and then when we get to the end of that, I'll unveil that. But as I was going through my notes, because Joey said, "Hey, can you tell some stories from the beginnings of Toontown?" And I said, "Sure." And to refresh my memory, I went and dug through some old files, and I was looking online at the files that are shared in the repository. And I'm like, wait a minute, there's some stuff that's missing. And I went and dug through my stuff, and I'm like, oh, what about the 2001 design document? And I realized that, oh, that's never been shared out. And it has a bunch of things people have probably never seen. And the reason you've never seen them is because it has ideas that were proposed to be in the game, but just never ended up in the game. And so we'll take a look at some of those at the end of, after we talk about some of the beginnings.
All right, sounds good.
So a little suspense there for you.
Well, do you want to take us through, I guess, do you have anything prior to the design document you want to take us through for the beginnings, or do you want to just...
I was gonna, before we do, I just, I thought I'd tell a couple stories. I just threw together some slides just to tell some of the tales of how Toontown began. And of course, now I'm with a bunch of people who are going to be like, that's not how it happened. What are you talking about? But that's okay. People can call me out when I'm making mistakes. But yeah, I thought I would just jump in, and if it's okay, I'll just tell some of the stories of how it all got kicked off, and then we can open it up to having some discussions.
Here we go.
All right, so a long time ago in the mid '90s, there was this group called the Disney Virtual Reality Studio. And this group was formed in the early 90s with the express idea of putting virtual reality into the Disney theme parks. And there's a bunch of people in it. A number of them ended up working on Toontown, but this was kind of a picture of the original VR studio group. Most of what they ended up working on was Disney
Have you ever
Quest.
seen what this was?
No, never.
Yeah,
I think this is in the Walt Disney World, Florida.
That's excellent.
This is a complete
little secret. The very first
never,
project that the VR
I've
studio
never
worked
even
on
known
was
this
a Rocketeer
existed.
VR experience.
This is all new information. to me.
But that never really got off the ground, as it were. Instead, we
Ash, you got
ended
to
up
play some
switching
stuff
to
there.
working on an Aladdin experience. And
Apparently,
the Aladdin's Magic Carpet
Ash
had
did
a few
Aladdin
different versions,
Pirates. It's gone.
but
Yeah.
this was kind of some pictures from the Disney Quest version. So the VR studio worked on this kind of groundbreaking virtual reality for Aladdin, Then we worked on this Hercules in the Underworld project that was at Disney Quest, which was this cave-based experience with Hercules.
Seems like it was a lot of just like the movies coming out around the time.
Oh, you're on to something.
And these were just all really cool and exciting, and we were all really glad to be working on this stuff.
Have you watched the
but
movie
once
yet,
Disney
though?
Quest was built, it kind of created this kind of like, well, what are we gonna do next?
Question.
Oh, nope.
You know, hard realities.
I know
of the
exactly
Walt
what you're
Disney
getting at.
Company.
Okay, all right.
If you're on a team that
At least
doesn't
I
have
think
anything
so.
to do, you better.
Who
you
Framed
might have
Roger
a
Rabbit?
problem. You know, you
Yeah,
may not have
I've
a
never watched
job
it.
in a few months.
Man,
So you always
what
gotta
are you
make sure
doing?
that
I
what are we
had
doing
a
next?
sinking
And we
feeling that
didn't
that's what
know,
you were
'cause
talking
we were
about.
focused on VR and we were focused on theme parks, and that work was done. And we're all like, man, what a great team. We love working with each other. What are we gonna work on? And this was about the time, this time it's the late 90s. The internet has shown up, right? Web browsers and things have shown up. And we start thinking about some other stuff we'd been doing. So one thing we'd done on the side was this thing called Toon Tag, which was this was an experience we'd initially created just as an R&D experience, just to show here's what a multiplayer game for kids online might be like, which sounds crazy now. Like, of course we know what that is, but back then that didn't exist. All the games that were online multiplayer games were kind of, really, big shoot 'em up things that nobody was thinking about for kids. And we wanted to show that, no, you could make a game that was a little more kid family friendly, that was multiplayer. And we'd made this just as a R&D demo. 4 people could play tag in this world. It doesn't seem like much now, but back then no one had ever made like a 3D version of Goofy or Donald. Like this was a bit groundbreaking at the time. And one of the most memorable days for me was when Roy Disney Jr., Roy E. Disney, came by in order to check it out. And it was really weird. Like I was on one side of the table, controlling Donald, and here's like Roy Disney Jr. playing Mickey on the other side of the table. And it was a very surreal moment. And then when it was done, I said, well, Roy, what did you think? And he said, I think it was keen. And we're like, all right, I guess that's as good a compliment as you could get. Well, we built this just as a demo, and this turned into something because Disney Online had committed to build this thing called Disney's Internet Zone at Epcot Center. It was an installation, but they didn't know what they were going to put in it. And they were desperate to put something in it because they didn't really, it was kind of vague. And they saw the Toon Tag demo, and they said, could we put that in it? And so you can see there, this was an experience where 4 people would go on a stage and play this tag game, in Toontown with a kind of a live host. And you see 4 screens and this bigger screen showing the map. And that ran at Epcot for about 10 years. So we had done that, but that was like a tiny project. And it was like, we were still back to the question, well, what are we going to do next? And as we looked at all this internet stuff and we thought about how we'd done the Toon Tag thing, we realized like that doing online games could be a great thing for us to do because we knew 3D, we were excited about online games, and this could be a possibility. So we put together this pitch that was all about the online theme park, because there was this whole problem of like raising money inside the Disney company. We knew how to go get $50,000 to do something. But to make like an online multiplayer game at the time, we're like, that's going to cost like $5 million. There wasn't a good way to get $5 million at the company, but we saw that there were ways to get like 50 or $100 million. And so we're like, well, we'll try and do that. So we came up with this pitch all about, we're going to make 10 or 20, I think we had like 20 MMOs. We're going to make 20 MMOs and we're going to glue them all together so you can jump from one to the other. And we had this big pitch. We're going to have a Space Mountain MMO and a Toontown MMO and just about everything, every Disney property. We were kind of how we're going to make all these different connected MMOs, and it would be the online theme park. Right, the Hall of Presidents MMO. I don't even remember how that one worked. Mike, do you still have the deck from that? Because I can't find that anywhere.
I have it. It wasn't digital. It was in a binder. It was like
Yeah,
it was old school. Yeah,
it was just before people did PowerPoint very much. So it was like a paper deck. It was crazy. Anyway, so we didn't really think we could build 20 MMOs, but we knew if we pitched this, it was internet times.
I mean, they
everyone would
built quite a
listen to
few.
us. So we did this, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, they want to build like 20 MMOs, and it's gonna be a Disney thing." So everyone was listening to us, and as we pitched it and pitched it and pitched it and pitched it, eventually somebody said, "Well, no, we're not gonna fund 20 of them, but we might do one. Well, how about you do one and we'll see how it goes?" And really, that's all we wanted wasn't to do one. So we're like, "Oh, I guess so. So of course, and when we're just going to do one, of course we're going to do the best, most sensible one." And it was, before I get to that, what it was, we had to build this thing. I totally forgot. We have to build this thing. We built the Panda 3D engine because, nowadays you're making something, you'd use it in Unity or Unreal or something.
This is what happens when
those
you're
things didn't
presenting.
exist back then. We had to make our own engine,
I know.
the Panda 3D
Get too
game
far ahead.
engine. This was different. The stuff we'd been doing for Disney Quest was all on Silicon Graphics machines. And
Silicon Graphics.
We knew that anything we built for the home was going to need to be on the PC. We need to build a new engine. So we took everything we learned from doing the Disney Quest stuff and built this new Panda 3D game engine. And what might surprise you is where the Panda 3D engine gets its name. Ostensibly, it stood for Platform Agnostic Network Display Architecture. But what had really happened was an executive came to the VR studio very frustrated. They were frustrated with us. All we wanted to work on was these 3D games, and he didn't think that was important. He thought that we should be working on web pages and using Java, and that's what's important. And we're like, we don't want to do that. We want to work on 3D games. We think that's what's important. And he said, "No, the problem, your team is there. You're like a bunch of pandas. All you'll eat is bamboo. And you're going to die because all you eat is bamboo. You need to be more like rats. Rats eat anything. So you need to be less like pandas and more like rats." And you think about that. And we're like, "Okay, we'll think about it." And it inspired us to make our new engine and call it the Panda 3D engine. And
Honestly,
of course,
I'm just happy with the background on Panda 3D.
So you feed bamboo into the Panda engine, and that's what made it go.
This is lore.
So we built that engine, and at the same time we're thinking about what should the game be. And obviously the simplest, the most straightforward, best, most popular game for building an MMO about was going to be this, Atlantis. Believe it or not, this was the original plan.
I haven't watched this at all yet.
We weren't going to build Toontown. Of the 30 MMOs or whatever that we pitched, Atlantis was the one we were going to build. And the reason for that was the Atlantis movie wasn't out yet. And so many people inside Disney were convinced Atlantis was going to be a giant hit. This was going to be Disney's most successful animated film ever made. And this is going to be Disney's Indiana Jones. This is going to be this huge thing. And so everyone was talking about it, what a big hit it was going to be. And so when we went,
I think I've seen clips on YouTube.
Like, we're going to build an Atlantis MMO. And people were like, "Ooh, that's going to be a big hit. Good idea. So we actually built prototypes to some extent. We built some avatars. We had a whole pitch for how the whole thing was going to work. And then we once we got it to a certain point, we took it over to feature animation and said, we need to get your buy-in. We're going to do this Atlantis MMO. And they were like, "Ugh, we don't want you to be doing this. You're going to ruin our movie by making a game. It's gonna make people think that this is for kids. We don't want games in this. So no, you're forbidden. You can't make it." And we're like, oh well, all right. Well, let's go find something that nobody really cares about. And we did. It was Toontown Online.
They got him there.
Jesse's great in this panel.
Toontown was one of the ideas in our deck that we were the most
got a good
excited
presentation,
about
boys.
because we'd already built Toontag and we knew the feel of it, and we knew that it had Disney right in the center of it. And this picture is actually from one of the decks. What we did is we took this poster, which I think was a poster they used to sell. I don't remember. This was a poster I think they used to sell at Mickey's Toontown at Disneyland, and we just put the online part under it. And so, talking about the inspirations for Toontown, in the beginning, we were like, Toontown Online, it makes a lot of sense, of course. But what is it? And people may have seen this diagram before in the repository from one of the early design documents. This was an early experiment, just kind of exploring what could Toontown be about, because we hadn't really figured out what it was. And this was an early concept that we turned away from, but the concept was we want Toontown to be a place where like the enemies are all the things kids hate. So we had like this school with like mean teachers, and this factory with like evil businessmen and pollution, and this city with like, you see list things like the dentist, and this neighborhood with a bunch of bullies, and you were gonna, the Toons were gonna fight against these things that kids hated. And as we talked about it, it's like, really, we're gonna tell kids that school is evil and like an evil dentist? It's like this might not be the smartest idea. But you'll see the evil businessman was kind of listed in 2 of these, and we're like, we kind of like that part of it. And so like this started to become the center of Toontown, the Toons versus these evil business people. And we realized there was this work versus play dynamic that we really liked, because not only was it fun and funny and it kind of made sense, but it was something that both parents and kids could relate to, because the conflict between work and play is something that kids and parents have to think about and deal with all the time. How much play is too much play? How much work is too much work? And it just was very natural. And so this kind of became the central idea in Toontown. Other influences for Toontown that were really important. One, we can't underestimate Mickey's Toontown at Disneyland and its presence there, because it's an interesting blend of the Roger Rabbit movie, which of course that was the origin of the phrase Toontown. It was a blend of like the Roger Rabbit Toontown and then also kind of Mickey's universe. And even the trolley, for people, some people may or may not know, the trolley in Toontown Online was based on the Jolly Trolley, which would run around in Disneyland. I also can't underestimate the importance of the Warner Brothers Looney Tunes cartoons, which of course, Bugs Bunny is a direct inspiration for Roger Rabbit in a pretty clear way. And all the business with like dropping anvils and things, that's not stuff from Mickey cartoons. That's stuff more from Looney Tunes cartoons. So there was a lot of inspiration kind of coming from those. And another really important piece of inspiration that a lot of people don't realize is the Carl Barks universe. So Carl Barks was an early Disney artist who created Duckburg. And he primarily did this through the Uncle Scrooge comic books,
Uncle Scrooge,
which were he created his whole world of Duckburg. And of course, people today know it as the DuckTales universe, but DuckTales didn't make it up. DuckTales took it all from the Uncle Scrooge, Carl Barks universe, and then just kept carrying it forward. And that,
I wish there was some way to be able to bring in that car.
That was a world. Like the
like
whole
into the game.
Duckburg wasn't just like a cartoon or a place. It was like a whole world where lots of different characters lived. And we kept saying to ourselves, the background characters in Duckburg, who weren't all ducks, there were a lot of characters of different types. We realized that that's what we want the people in Toontown to feel like. And some of it was actually quite direct, because you'll notice one thing when you look at this initial picture, which this was, I think, a Bruce Woodside picture, kind of just putting the concept together. One of the things you'll notice about the cog on the left is that cog is not a cog. That is not a robot. That's just a person. And originally, the cogs weren't cogs. They were just people, and we called them the suits. And that was the concept, the Toons versus the suits. And that ended one day when we had a visit from Roy Disney Jr.
Oh, no.
Come to the studio. He's like, hey, remember that Toon Tag? That was pretty great. What are you doing now? And we're like, check it out. It's Toontown. It's all about the Toons versus the suits and all that. And he's kind of like, okay, interesting, I guess.
Oh, no.
And we're like, okay, well, that was a little weird. It wasn't the warmest meeting we ever had. And the next day, our vice president comes in very perturbed and says, we have a memo here from Roy Disney Jr. who says this game can never ship. Toontown can never ship because it is disrespectful to the people who made this company great. And we all like smacked ourselves in the head and realized, oh my God, Roy Disney Jr., well, his dad was Roy Disney Sr., who was the businessman who made Disney great. While Walt was the one doing all the creative stuff, Roy was the CEO of the Walt Disney Company for years and years, quietly in the background, making the company great. And here we are with this game saying business people are the evil enemy. And so our vice president's like, deal with this. You're going to have do something. I don't know what you're going to do, but do something. And we're like, oh my God, well, we can't, what are we going to do? We can't take them out of the game. And we're like, well, what if we started brainstorming? What if it's something else? What if it's aliens are the enemy? Now that's corny. What if it's robots are the enemy? We're like, well, maybe robots, but we really want the work versus play thing. And we're like, what if it's business robots? But we don't tell anybody that. So we wrote a letter back saying, we've changed it. The game is different now. It's going to be all about Toons versus robots. And they're like, okay, fine, whatever. And well, we didn't tell them it was business robots. And honestly, the game got better at this point because we were never sure when you defeated a suit what was supposed to happen to them. Bruce Woodside had an original concept where when the suits got hit with too many pies, they would turn into clowns and then shrink really small and run away. And it was like some weird dream. And it was like, Bruce, that's interesting, but that's probably not right. And once we seized onto the cog idea of the robots, the business robots, it was like, oh, this makes more sense because they can explode, and it's just more interesting anyway. And then it's like, where did these business robots come from? And we're like, oh, let's go to Duckburg and figure it out. So we brought in the idea that Gyro Gearloose invented them, and to help Uncle Scrooge, because Uncle Scrooge wanted to, he was frustrated that his businesses weren't more efficient. So Gyro's like, I'll help you out. I'll make business robots. And then the business robots want to take over Toontown because they think that's an efficient thing to do. So it was fun to kind of take the Duckburg characters and weave them in to the world of Toontown. And so I was thrilled because I grew up with Gyro Gearloose. He's one of my favorite characters, and to be able to use him in a story. And I could not have been more excited. Not too long ago, when they did the new DuckTales show, there was an episode where Gyro's looking at his notebook, and look what's in his notebook. Like, he has the cogs in his notebook. And I love this idea that he had them on the good list and crossed them off and realized, oops, that was an accident, and puts them on the evil list. But the whole idea that we created something that is now part of the Carl Barks Duckburg universe and in Gyro Gearloose's world, is just something I was very excited about. Anyway, I just wanted to tell just a couple more quick stories about origins, unexpected origins of certain things in Toontown. One of them are the knock knock doors, which are so cute and fun. But why are they there? Why did we put them there? They don't really serve any gameplay purpose. They showed up because initially, when we were making the towns, I remember this was a discussion with Felipe Lara, making the kind of prototype neighborhoods. There were all these doors to make the town look like a normal town. Like, of course, there's doors on buildings. And then, of course, people would run up, how do I open it? And we're like, we can't open all these doors. We can't afford to make all these interiors. It's too expensive. I'm like, Felipe, get these out of here. We can't open them. Take the doors away. So he's like, okay, I'll take the doors away. Takes the doors away. And now the town looks super weird. It's just all these walls, right? We had an occasional door, but like walls and walls and walls and walls. We're like, ugh, that looks terrible. We can't have doors you don't open. We can't have doors you do open. What are we going to do? And somebody came up with the idea of like, well, what if you knock on them and they tell a joke and that's it? And we're like, oh, yeah, of course, people want to interact. They don't need to necessarily go in. And we're like, knock knock jokes are cheap. So like we can do that. So that's how that idea came about. Another one, here's a Mike Goslin thing here, talking about Lil Oldman. Some people may not realize the origin of the name of this character. There was a Mel Brooks movie called High Anxiety, who has this funny character played by Howard Morris, who's kind of a funny character actor. I think Howard Morris is the gopher in Winnie the Pooh, actually, as a matter of fact, but he plays a lot of interesting characters. And he plays a character in this named Professor Lil Omen. And the joke is everyone always calls him, "Oh, are you Professor Lil Old Man?" And he's like, "It's not Lil Old Man, it's Lil Omen. It's just this, I don't know." And we thought this character was funny, and Mike was kind of riffing on that. So there's like part of the secret origin of Lil Oldman was in a Mel Brooks movie. Another unexpected origin is Secret Friends, the whole system by which you can kind of establish friends with somebody and type messages back and forth.
Yeah, you know, I kind of forgot
This
about that.
came from an idea of it from another Disney game called Disney.
Oh, I thought you knew about the where
Disney
it came from.
Girlfriends was this game where if you had it and your friend had it, you could play multiplayer online games together by connecting your modems, I think, or something. I don't remember how it worked, but you would connect one friend to another friend, and it worked by you'd request a secret code from the game, and then and you'd tell it to your friend, and then they'd type that secret code, and then the system would connect you together. And it was a way that kids could be online but be safe because they'd requested these secret codes. And we're like, we were really looking for ways to keep kids safe online, and we're like, that's pretty smart.
It's a very
Disney
important
Girlfriends
thing,
as a
even today.
product was kind of crazy silly, because what are the chances that it's a multiplayer game that you buy in the store and you can only play with your friends who have it? It's like selling one walkie-talkie. Like, what are you doing? So it didn't really do very well as a product, but that was a smart idea, and we borrowed that idea for the Secret Friends system, and worked very well. And then the last little story I'd talk about would be the origin of the trading cards and the newsletters.
I never got any of them.
I know Joe and I were very passionate about this as a concept. We kept thinking about like,
I don't think I threw them away.
Club, and kids are part of the club. Wouldn't it be cool if as soon as you joined and you paid, that you start getting stuff in the mail and you really feel like you were part of this club? And we were excited. It was going to be stickers, and I think was the original concept was all about stickers. And we go to marketing and we're like, yeah, we want to do this. It's going to be great. And they're like, wait, you're saying this game where kids pay $6 a month, what are we gonna spend, $1 a month mailing this out? We're just gonna give them that for free, like a free $1 a month. You're gonna do that? That's the plan? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, no, this is a business. What are you talking about? We can't just give away $1 a month to everybody. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Get out of here with that. And we were kind of bummed. And then we're like, well, maybe we need to think about it from their point of view, because it is kind of a lot of money. $1 a month, it's not nothing. And we were thinking about, well, what do they really care about? And as we thought about it and talked about it more, we realized the way the marketing people thought about it is they thought about what does it cost to get someone to, how much do they need to spend on advertising to get someone to buy a subscription? And then once they bought the subscription, we want to keep them as long as possible. And it was like, oh, wait a minute. So like they're expecting the subscription lasts a certain period of time. And we're like, we think that if you get this in the mail, it's going to make the subscription last longer. So we went back to them and said, okay. We're not here to tell you about how cool it is. We're here to talk about a terrible moment. The moment a subscription gets canceled. And they're like, what are you talking about? We're like, okay, we're going to talk about when a subscription gets canceled. Here's how a Toontown subscription is going to get canceled. A parent is alone at night. The kids have gone to bed and they're paying the bills and they're going through the credit card and they're like, what? $6 a month? What? Am I still paying this? Does my kid even play this? I don't know if they do. I'm going to cancel this. That's when this happens. And that's when it's going to happen.
I
now,
don't know what that is.
That there's a universe where we send a mailer once
Joe
a
wants
month.
to bring
What
something
happens when kids get a piece of mail? And the marketing people are like, well, kids love getting mail. They'll be excited. I'm like, right. And it's a piece of mail from Disney. Now, what's going to happen? You just created a moment where the parents are going to get this thing in the mail, hand it to the kid, and they're going to see the kid be like, oh, awesome. That's amazing. You can't
Wait,
tell me
wait a
that that's
sec.
not going to make the subscription last 2 extra months. And they're like, oh my God, it probably would last 2 extra months. I'm like, right. So if the average subscription is 6 months, how much does this cost us to do? They're like, oh, that's like $6. And I'm like, what if we extend it by 2 more months? They're like, wait. So it costs us $6, 2 more months, that'll cost us $8, but we'll make $12. And I'm like, right. They're like, we can't afford not to do this. Right.
Wow.
And it totally worked, and we got it off the ground. And I will add that the trading cards were very special to me personally, because after I left Disney and the way Shell Games started was Mike was like, hey, we need someone to write these trading cards. Do you have time to do that? And I'm like, yeah. And I ended up starting Shell Games initially as a consultancy, where my job was writing all the text on the backs of the trading cards. So the Toontown trading cards were actually at the very beginning.
Pre-thinker confirmed.
There you go. So the last one I'll just mention is I wrote a lot of the stuff on the trading cards, and so these were always very special to me. And the juggling cubes, juggling has always been a hobby of mine, and I used to actually be a professional juggler. And like one of the ones I just love pointing at
after they
is,
kind of moved away
the
from
little
like
joke on the back
hardcore
here. Jeff
developing
and
like
Jesse's
the
jocular
structure of the
juggling
game and everything,
cubes.
they were able to like
Jeff was my best
focus a
friend
lot
growing
more
up,
on
and the
like
two of us always
the
juggled together,
accessories
and we were
and like
roommates
the
in
stuff
college,
that
and we
kind of
started the
ran
college juggling club
alongside
and
it.
so it was nice to be able to kind of sneak that in there as a little tribute to a friend of mine. There you go. Anyway, that's the end of my slides right there. So thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jesse. And now, so we don't have a lot of time to dive into it deeply.
Is that
but
Joey?
You mentioned that there's this 2001 design document, right?
Yes, you're right.
Any quick things you want to say about that?
What?
Yeah, let me, I know we don't have time to go into too deeply, but let me just pop it up for 1 second, and I could show you a little glimpse of it before it kind of goes up online. I'll just give you a quick
37 minutes more,
because I know we want to get to the Q&A as soon as we can.
I'm interested to see what this is all about.
This is probably it right there. All right, so there it is. Toontown design document version
Look at that.
2.6.
Wow.
Confidential.
And
Let's go.
it's got a lot of
NDAs.
interesting things in it. First of all, it's longer than any of the design documents that the other ones.
It's expired, right?
116 pages long. So it
I
definitely
would
has a
assume
lot
so
more
if he's
stuff.
showing it online right
And
now.
just a couple interesting surprises that are in it. Let's see. I don't know. I can find some stuff real quick. Oh yeah, stuff about the hotel room, which was one of the original Toontown concepts. And there were some other things. There's something in here about the trade. Oh, there it is. The trade interface that we were going to use to trade back and forth. And then I know farther in here is the original.
So there's a what's next for Toontown panel tomorrow.
Concepts.
Maybe it's going to be previewed
some
here.
of which just never happened, and those I think people will have
sure,
fun
actually.
poking through. Oh yeah, there are some descriptions of some of the lands that never got built, like Goofy Stadium, and a few of these others. But like so you can have fun poking through and learning about the cheese shop minigame that never happened, or like. The canon game was originally called Boomatoon. I don't know why we didn't keep that. That's a better name.
That is a better name.
And also fun in here is you can kind of see there are some comments from some of the other Imagineers about these. I think a number of these are actually from Daniel Osheim here. Anyway, so there's a lot of fun stuff you can dig through here, and people should have fun checking that out, I think.
Yeah, so we'll be getting this uploaded to the Toontown Preservation Project later this weekend. You'll be able to access it by going to toontown.online. And yeah, thank you so much, Jesse, for digging up this piece of history for us.
Okay.
That was pretty cool.
So Joey, I'm going to stop the screen share, okay?
Yeah, go ahead. You're free to kill the screen share.
All right.
All right. So let's just dive right into questions, since I know we don't have a ton of time with you all. But I wanted to start by actually directing a question towards Ellen. because Ellen, as you mentioned, you had a big role in the original ToonFest.
I think he brings back the screen share.
Now, we have all these
reason.
people here celebrating 20 years of Toontown at ToonFest 2023, and I kind of just wanted to hear from you. How did the first ToonFest come to be? What was that like? The process of, getting Toontown Online players in person together. Oh, I think you're muted.
Thank you.
There you go.
Before I came to Disney, I worked for StarTrek.com, and I would go to Star Trek conventions and talk to fans there and take photos of them and put them on the official site. So the minute I loaded up Toontown and saw it, that's when the original ToonFest idea popped in my head. We have to get these people in their costumes of their characters together somehow, someday. It took several years of other events that marketing. We worked in conjunction with Disney Channel. They were very, very clear that if we were doing any kind of event, it needed to have a lot of presence in marketing channels like Disney. Disney Channel would run an interstitial covering our event if it was featuring enough Disney Channel folks. So the Grand Prix,
That's how I learned about the game.
And the we did something else. We did a charity event that was very focused on Disney Channel stuff.
That's what we're doing.
And we had
and so was Smirky.
Contests so people could come to those events, but it wasn't really about the fans. It wasn't until 2006 that I think we had finally gotten enough momentum and the fan sites were exploding and there was enough,
I know I'm being distracted, but
that we had convinced
Jesse
them
Shell
that we
has
should do a
that
proper ToonFest. So the first one was on the studio lot in 2006.
I don't want to say
the
he's
following
judging,
year,
but
we did,
he is so
Fantasia Gardens
focused.
at Walt Disney World in conjunction with the launch of Acorn Acres. So it was like a golfing themed event, and those were some of the most exciting, events I've been to. It was so thrilling watching everyone come together and put their costumes on and just, tune out together.
Awesome. And do you happen to have any advice for, we're just kicking off ToonFest. We got 3 more days of it here. Do you have any advice for fans to make the most of their weekend?
Oh, it's not showing Joey when he's talking. Okay.
This is where I'm going to cry because I'm just so excited that the fans are still fanning. And that you all are together.
I think they want to show them
be excellent
the audience
to each other, and
that's
give
my
everyone,
assumption.
Jelly beans and hugs and tune-ups all over the place. Yay! Thank you, and just be your awesome, amazing Toon selves. Thanks for being the best, easiest community to manage really ever.
Why?
Because you're all so great.
Okay, that's not my air tag.
All right.
Nope.
So away from Ellen over to now, Reg. I understand that you also had an interesting role to play in the Toontown community. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you provided support for some of the international versions of the game. Is that right?
Oh, they sent me away to go launch them. It was awesome. So each of our international versions were actually launched via partners. So I'm trying to remember the name. So I think we had, I want to say one of them was Telefonica, one of them was Orange, pulling here. But so we launched it in the UK. We launched, which believe it or not, you're like, wait a minute, the UK, that's also English, but there's a whole nother culture over there, folks. We launched it in Spain. We launched it in France. I believe we had the Philippines. We had Toontown Japan. We had
I remember logging on to.
And back in the day, it was like, okay, just translate the game and off you go. And Toontown didn't do it that way, and that's what made it so special. They made it so that it was culturally relevant. So we had Bastille Day, when they were having different holidays there. We were very aware of the cultural differences. Don't get me wrong, a lot of the times it was American holidays first, but when you were launching the actual game, they made it culturally relevant to the players. So it wasn't just about like accept the American culture and off you go. It was make it unique to them, and you found that you had a lot of people. The other fun part is quick chat. It translated for you, so you didn't have to speak the other person's language.
Wait, what?
You just chatted between each other, and you could have a conversation with.
So that's what TTR is sort of working on right now, right?
Your language. So
I
yeah, it was a
have
lot of
no
fun. I
idea.
met a
They're
lot
bringing
of
that
people. I
back.
now live in the UK, which probably came from that
Or
first
making
trip
it work
that
on their
you
game.
guys sent me over there. So thanks
TTR.
for that as well. It's just going to be a love fest for me today. But knowing all of these different, thanks, Dylan. But knowing all of these different things, we had to provide support to these players. So it was making sure that we provided not just, hey, I've got this thing that's broken, but also, hey, that localization isn't quite right, or hey, that's slightly offensive. Can you please fix it for us? And those building out that team is actually what I did. So anyway, I'm
Ash,
not sure
I
if
heard
that's where you wanted to go
TTR
with the
talk about
question,
it
but
on.
that's where I've taken you.
You
one live
perfectly
stream.
answered it. The question was going to be one from Gigi, just a special shout out to them, who is one of our community members who asked just what went into supporting all that. And I think you totally covered it. And actually, I know there's some people in the room here who have traveled from other countries to come to ToonFest. Do you all want to raise your hand in the audience here? We got a couple
My
in
people,
the back.
where you at?
There's a couple around the room here. I think
there's
we,
one.
we
I saw a
tracked-
hand.
How long was the longest flight to come here? 22 hours. Someone's traveled 22 hours to come to ToonFest.
That's dedication.
Thank
And I
you.
think that is in large part thanks to your work in supporting the
Wow.
international community with Toontown. Now, I'll move to another one for Sean, actually. So, Sean, you mentioned you started working on Toontown as an intern. You later sort of moved up into Goofy Speedway, eventually design directing for parties. What was that like, I guess, like, going out from so early in your career, working on the game in these different roles? And do you also happen to have any advice for, say, aspiring game developers looking to get an internship on something like Toontown?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was great. I mean, I went out to Walt Disney Imagineering not really knowing what to expect. I think there were 3 of us that were going out from my graduate school, and we were working on different things. But I was working with Jesse and Joe and Mike and Roger and those guys, and I think you guys put me to work on some
What's Jesse holding?
tune maker stuff, like sort of revamping some of that, and then
I
on this, I graduated to some work on some mini games, Match Mini and things like that. But it was just just wild to, like, doing Python and doing, you're like, here's a game that people don't say, they say it's not very good. Can you make it better? Like, maybe. And it was just, you threw me right in there. You treated me as part of the team, and it was just awesome. And I think, that's something we definitely try to do at Shell Games. Like, we put our interns on, important parts of the game, and it's like, hey, that's the best way you're going to learn, and you get treated as part of the team. And it was awesome. And so, yeah, when Jesse was a great boss, then he was a great professor, and I guess I must have made a good impression because you called me up later. But
oh, it's
but
one
yeah,
of those.
I was very fortunate in my career path, and I
What are
think
they?
that as far as
It's like the.
as far as advice to folks,
Don't know what it's named, what it's called.
Work on projects with your friends. You can work on, you can use the same engines we use, right? Unity and Unreal. You can download those. You can make projects with your friends. You can put them up on your website. And I know, at least when we're hiring folks at Shell Games, right, we're looking at, is this person really excited about game development? And do they enjoy it? Is it something they enjoy? Is it something they can work on with other
Game development
folks? Can
is
they
like
collaborate? Can
it's
they
crazy
speak the
stuff.
different languages? Designer, engineer, artist, right? And
it's
yeah,
a really
it's
weird
just,
mix of
of
a lot of
game
things.
jam every year, from Sri Lanka to Hawaii. Hundreds of game developers working on thousands of games. Get some stuff up in your portfolio. Talk about the game that you made. What worked, what didn't. Can you analyze it? Can you see what worked? Can you describe why it didn't work and what you'd change if you had more time? These are all the things that I learned and that we look for. So, and have some fun out there.
Speaking of fun, Sean, we have a game of yours at the Toontown booth. Do you want to tell anyone about it?
Yeah, no. So Joey is very nice, and he was explaining how you guys are gonna have Toontown themed board games. I was like, I make board games. And Tin Spin is, I think, the game that's there, and it's the first ever game to use dice spinning as a mechanic. Because why roll dice when you can spin them? Am I right? Jesse's got a copy.
Oh.
But yeah, Tin Spin is a fun game, and yeah, you should totally play some Tin Spin. Check it out online. And yeah, super excited. And I think it's going to be one of the prizes for at least the cake decorating contest, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's right. The winner of the cake decorating contest will get their own copy of Tin Spin. This panel has also been brought to you by Tin Spin. So.
I don't have that kind of budget.
I'll send you a bill, Sean. Don't worry.
Quick Tin Spin trivia. That's actually a game that Sean made in my game design class when he was one of my students. What was that, Sean? 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah,
21 years ago.
Right. See, he'd done it as an assignment in class, and I was like, wow, this is really fun. And he's like, maybe I'll do something with it one day. And a few years ago, Sean's like, I'm actually going to take this to Kickstarter. So things that start out as a simple student project can turn into a real product if you want to.
Jesse wrote a quote on the Kickstarter. It was like, I've been waiting for this game for 20 years. It's all true, baby.
So we've got another community question here, this time for Bridget. This is from Derp Kirby.
Okay, as we transition to another question, I'm going to be taking my leave here.
I know, Bridget, you
all right.
did quite a bit of.
I'll see you, Michael. Thanks for joining me for
rules you had to follow to fit the game.
Absolutely.
We went past our time of like stopping at 8. But yeah, thanks.
It's all good. Y'all have a good night.
I think at the very beginning when I first started,
I missed the
we
question.
were trying to stick pretty close to the original design of, like the Warner Brothers style and the original Toon design. But then we wanted to make, and I also wanted to make more and more outfits for the Toons. And the original ones, they were just a little boring, I mean, they're all right to dress your avatar up, but then you want something, kind of stylish and kind of cool. So as long as we stuck to kind of bright colors and kind of a toony feel, we kind of pushed it more in that direction. And I think I can remember like one of the things that was a little like iffy at the beginning was I made a tie-dye shirt. And I know some people were like, oh, I don't know about the tie-dye shirt. That's like not in this realm. Like, I don't know. But then luckily we will let it go through. And I think it was pretty popular. So that was one example of kind of pushing it more towards just like the fun, wacky side.
I would
not
see
really
this tie-dye shirt
stuck to the old,
I would think of like, yeah, I saw this in Toontown.
Whatever cartoon look. So, yeah.
Awesome. And another thing about the Toonie Awards, the winner of the accessory design contest that Bridge is judging will have their item actually put into Toontown Rewritten as an item that you'll be able to use. So you'll be able to say that, the original accessory creator for all sorts of different Toon accessories has approved your design.
Yay, I'm excited. I'm excited for that.
Bridget, you also used to help judge the fan art contests as well, and you would help take those designs and put them in the game back then as well.
That's true. I did that for the game. So we'd also get together and decide which ones were the best. And I know Ellen sifted through a bunch as well. And yeah, that was super fun to do. And I think people really liked getting their artwork in the game. And then I would paint it up and we put it in. So.
Yeah, it was just recently. Someone in the community had spoken up that they were one of the designers of a shirt that you all had judged and put into the game, and they had the original scan of it. I think it was the fishing shirt.
The
watermelon shirt. The watermelon shirt.
I remember that shirt.
So yeah, it was the watermelon shirt. They're still a member of the Toontown community.
I remember that one too.
I think they said they were brought to tears or something when they learned that their shirt was being put into the game. So it's just a testament to the impact that you all have had through just supporting this community.
That's awesome.
Now I want to pose a question to Gaeto. I believe you have the unique perspective here as being one of maybe the only developer here who was with Toontown all the way to the very end in 2013. And so, just as someone who was there in some of those later days, I guess what was it like on the team? How do you think it differed from the earlier days of the project? And were there any things that you didn't really get to finish or complete that you were hoping to before the game closed?
That's the thing, actually. I asked them about how honest I can go with this question, and then everyone said it can go.
Yeah.
So, it was like, Disney, actually their attention was actually moved on to another project at the time. So they are pulling up people from this project. And then almost at the end, we are only one engineer working on this game. So, which was not me, which was Justin. So it became down to 3 of us, and then 2 of us, and then only one person working on both Toontown and Pirates at the same time. Then they just put it away. So it was really sad days. Actually, I remember that earlier days we were all like, VR Studio have our own culture. We are working really together in very funny ways, and then that whole culture is kind of gone, and then we became more like cogs in a way, and then they finally pulled the plug up. But luckily, Toons resist and then rewritten the history. I'm so love to watch all these Toons rewritten becomes alive.
And so what was your reaction when you heard for the first time that, like, you know, the fans were going to try and bring Toontown back? Was it
oh yeah, my first reaction was, is it even possible?
That was ours.
You don't know about this?
Awesome. And you know, speaking of the other projects, Mike, I believe you not only oversaw Toontown at one point, but also Fairies and Pirates Online, World of Cars Online, maybe. So what was it like, I guess, how did Toontown pave the way for those other Disney MMOs? And is there any like lessons that you learned from Toontown that were put into those other games later on?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we kind of got back to the original idea of the online theme park. We had pitched, we're going to do 20 of these. And when Toontown worked, and this crazy thing about Toontown is they told me I needed a business model to get funding for the project, and we didn't have any business people on our team. We were a studio, we had animators and engineers. We didn't have any business people, so I got into Excel and I made a spreadsheet, and I had some help from some people like, hey, what do you think that this is going to cost? And we built this model, and I don't know how it happened, but it was spot on. Like we hit exactly the revenue numbers that we had put in this model, this crazy model that we just cooked up. And so the result of that is they thought we were just geniuses about business. And so they let us do whatever we want. There was a period of time where we could just say, all right, we're going to do this game and here's what it's going to do. And they were like, okay, fine, here you go. Here's the, back the money truck up and start making these games. So we learned a couple things. One is the, figuring out all the safety and the chat. And by the way, you guys are the best community ever. But despite that, there was still a lot of stuff going on that we had to kind of police. And so that was a big learning. And as we expanded to these other games, we were able to use the same system. I'll tell you one kind of funny story. So the bad word filter started with me and Greg Wietrowski. We went out and bought some beer, and we just sat down and started coming up with all the most profane things we could think of, and that was the beginning of the bad list. And it eventually grew to be in, I think, something like 10 different languages. I mean, it was like a massive thing, and I think we were the first ones really to do that. It
was so much bigger than that, Mike. Matt took it over at some point and created an algorithm that took Dante's Inferno and figured out what series of phrases in 5-word chunks the likelihood you would find them in that book. And then based on that ratio, that's how much we knew whether this was a bad phrase or a bad conversation to flag. And all of that was in every language we were supporting. It was, it was so impressive for the time. And now I look at what we're doing today, and I'm still like, Matt built a better one, because it was just, it's just unreal. And yeah, but Toons on the whole were a wholesome bunch. We were very lucky. Sorry, Mike, I didn't want to interrupt you there, but it was so much bigger than just the original profanity list.
Yeah, I think that's the theme here, is like everything we started, with this kind of small team in one room turned into this massive business. We had, I think five of these at one point, all going at the same time. Globally, we were in all these places, and we had this great map. Somebody took a Google map and put a pin for every live player on it, and it was just amazing to see that thing. We were covering the whole planet, and you could see when people were coming on. Like there's this like wave after the kids go to bed. There's this wave of adults would sign in. Like that's when we knew we were really onto something. Is when they would tell us that there were multiple players per household. So our subscription numbers weren't really the story. It was really, how many people in the house were playing together. And a lot of times it was the parent was one of the primary players. So yeah, we learned a ton. We
could just
used
be
it in all the other games, but each
night.
one was a little different. They were, trying to go after different audiences. I think we overreached with Pirates. We tried to like do this thing that was so huge that we almost killed the team trying to build it. It really was the online theme park for a while. We kind of got about, a good chunk into the original plan, largely because Toontown worked so well. Oh yeah, the OTP server. So we even tried to build a metaverse where you could have Toons and Pirates hanging out together, and that was kind of wild.
Who brought that up?
I had it running on my computer, and we would bring execs in and show them, and they're like, "What is this? What on earth? This will never fly. You'll never be able to get approval for this." But
that
we
was
built it.
It was part of the original online theme park pitch. I think we called it the Vista Viewer or some crazy thing where you could go between the worlds, and then later we're like, that's a terrible idea.
It sure was cool to walk around, and
yeah,
it's kind of like this backstage kind of idea. And there was, you could just walk from one. It was really like a theme park. You could walk from one area to the other and run into all the different kinds of characters. That's the nice thing about doing it all in Panda. It was all the same engine, so we could cross over like that.
So we've got a couple other community questions here that I'll try and do a little bit of a round robin for. First, there's two community questions that I know a lot of people in here are wondering. Specifically, these are coming from someone named Speedster and someone named Darth M. And I'm going to start with Joe for this, but Joe, if you don't know, feel free to pass it to anyone maybe brave enough to answer. There were a couple urban legends of Toontown before the game closed that went unanswered. For example, there was the Cog Nation crates in Cashbot headquarters, which everyone's always sort of speculated, like, is there some giant Cog headquarters out there called Cog Nation? Well, I don't know. Is there anything you can say about that, of what your discussions were internally?
I do remember we were trying to build Cog headquarters for every track of Cogs. I do remember that. Those were added late in the game. I worked on a couple of them, designed a couple of them. But boy, I'll have to pass it to Gato. Do you remember this lore, Gato? Because that might have been after my time, or Jesse. Yeah.
Cog Nation, I do not. I've seen the crate. I don't know who put that there or what they were thinking.
Yeah. Well, so another one that is the chairman of the Cogs, and so when you defeat the CEO, he says the chairman's not going to like this as he's defeated. And we never met the chairman in Toontown. Were there any discussions of what the chairman might be?
One thing I'm reminded of is when you do world design, there's this concept of distant mountains that Tolkien talks about. You don't just design the things in front of you that you're interacting with on a day-to-day basis, the characters. You also design, things you may never get to, you may get to someday. And so I think the chairman was one of those that, like, we might get to him someday, but I don't remember ever any design docs or anything specific. Does anyone else?
Well, Joe, now that you say that, I happen to have a design doc right
you have
here.
A different mountain? Yeah.
Is there a board of directors potentially at some point?
we had discussed this rescue of Scrooge McDuck was actually in the design document at one point.
Okay.
Where I don't know if we called them the chairman back then. You can tell we're deep in the design document. It's all TBD,
Endgame.
TBD, TBD, TBD. We don't know what any of this is. But there was this whole idea of Scrooge McDuck held hostage by a giant robot, and fighting this giant robot in a climactic final battle. And there was a little map of Scrooge McDuck's vault and how it's connected in. We talk about defeating the head cog. But like you say, this was pretty vague.
Yeah, I think even in the best virtual world design, you don't want to design everything up front. You want the community to come along the ride, and you want the community to tell you what they're enjoying, what they're not enjoying, where you should spend your time. So you can drop little crumbs like that and see who bites, and then chase it.
And so the last urban legend that I have here is the under construction tunnel in Acorn Acres.
Oh, okay.
And so when Chippendale's Acorn Acres was added, there was a tunnel with a construction barrier that remained under construction until the day the game closed. Do any of you have thoughts, ideas, maybe designs of what that might have been?
I remember a few. There was a stadium. There was a black and white.
There was a black and white neighborhood. Yeah.
Black and white neighborhood. Jesse, you know I'm going to bring up the Vortex neighborhood.
Oh my God! I thought I was the only one who remembered that.
Vortex.
Did we have a name for it? It was like upside down something. I don't even know. But it was meant to be a playground where. So it was supposed to be like really weird, where gravity didn't make sense, and in the center of the playground, the ground came up into a pillar, and then the pillar extended onto the ceiling, and so that you could like walk right up the wall and then be walking around on the ceiling. So in the playground, there would be Toons walking on the floor, and also this playground would have a ceiling, and they'd be walking around up there. And David Rose told us to get lost, that he could never make the gravity work that way in Toontown. And we're like,
This was 15 years before Inception, right?
Yes. No, that's all.
And then there's this thing in Club Penguin where there was that cardboard box thing.
Acres under construction gateway, that didn't have that was after I had stepped away. And was the idea to add another neighborhood? Do you guys know at that point?
Yeah, I think we wanted to add another. I don't remember which one we were gonna put there though. Greg might know. He'd be a good person to ask.
Okay. It's funny, nobody seems to. I've talked to Greg, I've talked to Felipe. I get different stories. There was something about someone was saying, there was a golf course, a mini golf was going to go back there. I don't know. Like, I've heard so many different stories about what that was going to be. So it's.
Yeah, I thought it was mini golf, and we were talking about mini golf and skiing and like all sorts of things like that, but I don't know.
What did it cost?
I feel like I remember making the sign that goes there.
So mini golf did end up in the game. Mini golf was in there.
What was going behind the sign?
But I think there was the skiing one is interesting. 'Cause Sean, I don't know if you have any memory of this. I know I've seen at Shell Games before there was Toon parties. There was Toon ice skating. Do you remember that?
I do, because we were we were playing a lot of SSX Tricky around that time, if I remember correctly, and we were like, this game's great. And so there was talks of getting that sort of pulling tricks and like doing cool moves as Toons. And so Kyle Kenworthy, who was an extremely talented animator at the time at Shell, did some here are some tricks. And we were all very excited about it, and then there were issues and development issues. Why I never saw the light of day, but yeah, it was definitely there was a lot of SSX Tricky being played at lunch in that time period.
I happen to have a design document right here that talks about how skating is going to be integrated into the Berg. How you walk on the ice and suddenly you'll have ice physics.
That was pre us then.
That was a long time ago.
There you go. Ice skating, it's destined someday.
So we only have just 3 minutes until I think Momocon's going to give us the boot from this room, but I'm just going to open this up to a question for any or all of you. This is a question from Super Bubbles Boing and Boing, who said, "What is your fondest memory of working on Toontown Online?" Anyone want to start with that? Feel free to use the Google Meet raise hand. Oh yeah, Ellen, go for it.
Just the Toon Fest, getting to interact with the community face to face was always the best part. You know, it's one thing to read all of your messages and emails and hang out on the fan sites, but getting to actually talk to people who love this game and want to be together is the best.
I can tell you my favorite memory by far, and that was the day that Toontown Rewritten opened. Because the thing I want to make clear about part of what made Toontown special was it had a bunch of people working on it who'd been working on Disney theme park stuff. And working on that, we didn't think like normal video games, which is like, oh, the game's going to come out next Christmas and it'll be popular for 6 months. We thought about, we're going to build this and we want it to be up for 20 years. We want people to be playing this 20 years from now. And 10 years later, when Disney decided to close it, it was a super dark day and we were all really sad. It was incredibly depressing for all of us because our vision of this game being here in 20 years, 30 years, it ended that day. And except that you guys saved Toontown. So thanks.
Well, I know that's a hard one to top. Does anyone else have any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I'll add one. I mean, this happens maybe once a year or you know, thereabouts. I'll run into somebody who I'll have, I don't know, they'll either recognize me or I'll have something associated with Toontown. They'll come up and say, hey, you know, that was my childhood. Like that's what I did. I grew up in that game. And like, it never gets old. I mean, when people tell you like they've spent time and you know it was something that really had an impact on them, like that always makes me, you know, just it's so humbling, like just
Hi,
to have
Joseph.
that kind of ability to you know, to impact so many people. I mean, and it happens all the time. Even still, I've run into people and just, you know, so many people feel so strongly about something that we work so hard on. And
closer to the end of the panel.
It's a great feeling. I'm sure you guys
hitting
get
the
that
feels
too.
a bit.
I mean, it's, you know, this thing is just going to keep going.
Yeah, no, it's the players. I remember when Joey asked Jesse and I to speak at the Toonfest in Pittsburgh, and we were like, we got there and we were like rock stars, and we're like, do we deserve this? Like, it was just like, right? So yeah, I think it's just really awesome what the Toontown Rewritten folks have done to keep this magic alive, and for everyone who's playing it, it's great. It's amazing. 20 years.
Awesome. Well, thank you
amazing.
all. Thank you all so much for
20
being here.
years.
Let's give a round of applause.
That was
Thank you, Joey.
Yeah.
behind the Tooniverse panel earlier today.
You all are amazing. We're so happy that you've been a part of Toonfest. I know some of you will be stopping by later on for the Toonie Awards, so we'll see a couple of you again. But again, thanks for being here. A special surprise for everyone in this room. We have the 2020 Toonfest posters that we never got to give out that you can take on your way out. Thanks again,
what does it look
everyone.
like?
Yes, thanks again, everyone. Have a great night, and we will see you tomorrow for another day of Toonfest.
So that was the replay. Earlier, we also went through the opening ceremony. It was pretty quick, just as usual. It was like, yeah, what's going to happen? So for tomorrow, there is What's Next for Toontown After Fish Bingo. They're probably going to live stream it. We're going to have a VOD of that. We're just going to be reacting to it. This is basically the schedule. Let me go and make this a bit bigger. Room, okay. So what's next for Toontown is basically a sneak peek of what is to come for Toontown. I don't know, I'm reading off of the presentation slide. Tune in to the spam to see the inside scoop of upcoming plans for the game. So I assume that's for TTR. After that would be creating cogs. I think creating cogs would also be streamed on Toontown TV. Or on YouTube, or maybe on Instagram even. Maybe the opening ceremony, the Welcome to Toonfest was only on Instagram. What else is happening tomorrow? Hold up, let me open up schedule at TFFC.org, and tomorrow will be HKZ the Pirate stream. Basically, is going from 2 p.m. Pacific to midnight Pacific. And I'm the only one here who's streaming, so I have to also control the thing. After Hours May 2023 schedule. We're still figuring out the schedule. This is a last minute type of deal, but it's gonna be right there. TTR schedule is on their website or here. I don't know if I want to play Toontown right now. I feel like I've been sitting down here for quite a bit watching a Zoom lecture, but it was still very interesting. I wanted to talk about some things, but I forgot I should have written it down. But I remember playing until midnight while I was like 5 years old, and I was still in Toontown Central, and I just wanted to keep on playing, and it was like midnight. So I don't remember if my mom or my dad played it while I was like forced to go to bed, because I slept in the same room, but the CRT monitor was on. I was there. I was just playing. It was at TTR. I was like on a street trying to complete a quest or something, or just checking out the streets in general. And my mom came and was like, "Yeah, hey, it's time to go to bed. You've been playing this game for like all day." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to go to bed." It's like the dark in the room. Yeah, it was probably unhealthy for me. It was very dark in that room, and I had a bunk bed at the time, and it was just time to go to bed. I was using Windows XP. The game was running. It was in the same room where I'm streaming from right now. The bunk bed's gone. It's not gone. It's actually just in the garage. But yeah. Do I have any Unites gag? No, I don't have. I don't have Bean Unites. All right. So tomorrow, it'll be Harry, HKZ the Pirate. He's gonna be doing mostly Toontown and cog buildings and boss battles. However, something what's next for Toontown is like one of my more panels I'm interested in, so I hope Harry can like provide some discussion about it. That apparently the panel happens before or like early in the morning Pacific actually. What's next for Toontown? 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Saturday's 95% for you, Joseph? Working out a few things. Okay. Yeah, this nothing, no stress, no pressure. It's just after hours. It's just to like relax and catch up on what happened at the Toonfest birthday bash. I kind of wish we had more things planned. I did have a party, but then I had the party scheduled while we were just watching the VOD. I kind of wish Toonfest was also going on in the game, or Cartoonival. I think that's what they call it now. Yeah, they're gonna be streaming What's Next for Toontown, so I'm not gonna be awake for that, I think. I don't know. But this is why we have After Hours, so we can watch the VOD together after hours. Alright, I'm just chilling here in game. This is Splat Summit. I don't even have a webcam connected right now. That's how unprepared this was. I'm not sure if Chris Rules will be choosing a spot on the schedule too. But yeah. I think that's you, Joseph. remember last time you were on Toon Fest for Charity, you were stuck here. Birthday bash is clear to find out more. I think that just goes to the stream. It's nighttime here. How did you do that? I didn't know you could do that. It's kind of fitting. Watering plants can have organic eggs for Saturday. Oh, yeah. I did that too. As soon as I hopped back on. Nighttime and catalog. Got it. I'm at the Discord if you want to join. I'm not sure how long I'm going to go. Maybe until... I've done 2 hours in the stream, which is kind of offset. Maybe like 9:15 Pacific, 12:15 a.m. Eastern. Time zones. Trying to see and find out if there's been any new things posted on TTR's social media. That was cool seeing some endgame stuff. That document will be in the preservation project. I think the last thing they shared on Twitter was the Behind the Tooniverse announcement panel about to start. Check TikTok. Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Behind the Tooniverse on as a VOD on Twitch and on YouTube, hidden under the live tab. You could watch Behind the Tooniverse 20 Years of Toontown. You could also search it maybe on YouTube. Behind the Tooniverse. Instagram, they have the Welcome to Toonfest Birthday Bash ceremony. It's right there. It's the second one from the right. TikTok, nothing from the convention. All right. Let's check out Joseph's place. While he's asleep. So Joseph was stuck here. He was talking to a Toon. This place is huge. Feels huge. Can I go in this? Oh, right. My task is to find a big cheese. The big cheese. Yeah, I need to work on my drop. So this is the part of the thing about Toontown. I think someone was doing the same thing in my party that I had earlier today. The party in game. They said like, I think it was Big Bert. We go teleport to him. They say that that's all they did back when they played on Toontown Online, or even rewritten, like just partying. You are at my party. Thank you. By the way, this hat over here is redeemable. It's I forgot the code. I'll bring it out. Just playing around really. Okay. Who am I? Alright, this is getting into the part of Toontown. We're just chatting. My apologies. Laptop. What was I talking about again? Yeah, like that's just hanging around and like playing the game. Just like this, chatting. Especially with friends. Wish like Joseph again. Hajime is tired. I have to switch my voice from like speaking Japanese to English, and I have to work on that. I like the nighttime atmosphere here. This is Toonfest for Charity After Hours. It's after hours. Nothing much was planned out, but trying to fix the webcam. Oh, okay. Wait, are you planning on streaming? Or is it just preparing for Saturday? Checking if to buy a new webcam. Well, from work. Oh, okay. I've been trying to get the shorts or the stories from Instagram. Apparently you have to log in and do that, so I'm like trying just do a screen recording on my phone. Oh, okay. Looks like I cannot access Instagram right now for some reason. Okay. Well, I guess that was worth a try. I'm not sure if they're posting anything on Snapchat. This is Joseph's house. Going on for 7 more minutes. I'm trying to find anything interesting, but I'm blanking out right now. Like the only thing I can do is just bring up the schedule. Like that's it. Like, we just wait until tomorrow, basically. I think I can bring back the VOD and show like some interesting parts of the document that will be preserved, I think. Can bring back the VOD. Where'd it go? There it is. So what were some nice highlights from behind the Tooniverse? Went over the origins. The origins. I never got to check out these. I actually, back then, I didn't do anything but play Toontown online, even though that Disneyland was just a few minutes away. Why do that when you can stay at home, have some good snacks, and fight the cogs or just party? Panda 3D, that was a good story. Alright, what was this? It's like, okay, this is what is Toontown? Like, what would it look like on the map? Like, what would it have? This was really funny and interesting. Oh wait, there's a school place to go to, a neighborhood, the city, of course, and then the factory. I don't know who Mr. Cool would be, but I kind of want to know who they'd be. Wait, who is Mr. Cool? Groceries something? Okay, I think I'll go over like 3 minutes or something. Alright, businessman, dentist, Mr. Cool, groceries something. Boring restaurant, family restaurant, news channel. The neighborhood bullies something. Barky dogs, relatives, chores. Clean freaks, okay. Yeah, it's school. Teachers, vice principals, gym teachers, more bullies, cafeteria. The factory. Businessmen, toxic waste, pollution, deforestation. I can read that, but yeah. Some pretty cool okay, the car. Yes. I want to it'll be cool if, like, the car would be able to be somehow implemented in the game, like as a character. Like just to hang out, maybe in Goofy Speedway. I'll eventually get Michael to watch this movie, because apparently he hasn't. And he's been with us at Toonfest for charity for I don't know how long. Toontown. The thing. Where Joseph go in the game. He's up here. Okay. Why did that reset? I didn't mean to do that. Okay. So, back looking at the VOD for the Behind the Tooniverse panel. This is some interesting stuff about how they went from, that's an adult to, that's not an adult. That was funny. It's very symbolic in a way. I don't know where this was from. I forgot what they got this from. Will Oldman. Secret thing. True friend. After that, then this pops up. CFO real quick. I wasn't expecting to, but can I even do that? I can. Okay. Sure. Yeah, let's do it. Let me go over here and see like what we had. 2001. Sorry, I could barely read this. So you can see this in the VOD. I don't think I'm gonna go too far into this right now. I kind of want to do this on my own free time. I don't want to hold Joseph up. So that's the sound I've been hearing. Okay. It's been a while since I did a CFO, so I'm just gonna be very washed up. Okay. So this was really interesting. Rescue of Scrooge McDuck. I think we're about to do the CFO. Are we? Yeah, I think we are. Mystery Mouse is the party leader. Maybe I should go to the group. I don't know how that works. It's been a while since I played. I think we'll get to that later. Am I actually ready? I haven't checked my gags, but we're doing this. They don't know they're on stream. Say hi to the— wait, okay, Mystery Mouse knows. There's only like not even a handful of us, because this is so like late on the planning stage.
Ready for a grand old time?
No. I'm not.
I haven't done this in a bit either. I don't remember the combos. I'm just trying to not look like an idiot when it comes Saturday.
Yeah, this is a part of the thing. When I play TTR now, I feel like it doesn't have to be this way, because I went through so much in Overwatch. But
fair enough.
Oh man. So yeah, for day one's done. I'm excited for tomorrow, except I just count down the days till I have to go to work, which is this weekend. I won't be able to join as a part of your talent support team this Saturday.
Ah, well.
And I kind of wish I could, because
this guy is being... Oh yes, what's going on Saturday? I have not looked over the schedule at all.
The schedule, yes. Saturday would be a panel building Toontown, sketch to screen, Q&A, and designing Toontown. Mostly all that kind of stuff.
Okay, I gotcha. I'll be ready for that. I gotta put my time in the spreadsheet too.
Yeah, it's just mostly like last minute kind of planning after hours. I feel
Fair
like
enough.
we could have done something more and like worked with the TTR team, but no, it was like it's out of time. We can't do it, so we're just gonna do
And
it
there's
after
always
hours and
next
not
year.
even tell them we're doing after hours.
Hey, I mean, if you got some connections with the staff, I don't know any of these new guys, so I can't get codes to give out anymore.
Well, the codes are redeemable by everyone. Actually, I forgot about that.
Really?
So I forgot the one. I got this hat. As you, I'm on the other side, but am I on the other side? I am on the other side.
Casual TTR
Yeah.
communism.
We just missed all of our sound. I
Nice.
blame the random Auga that I didn't use, but it could have been me, so you're fine. Metro Mel, I think. I'm gonna pay attention.
Oh, you're
here for a
wearing the
bit.
cupcake?
No, I'm not.
Oh no,
wearing
wait,
the
that's you're not lemon lime. I'm a little dysfunctional right now.
So yeah, I mean, like, yeah. When I played Toontown Online back then, it's like I didn't care if I was gonna, like, the combos. I didn't care about that back then. I had a friend who did, and we didn't get along. Kind of. I just wanted to like vibe back then. It's like, yeah, let's just chill and like,
Fair enough.
It's like, well, not, if you can't go out of the house, just go home and yeah, play Toontown. I like the reason why I don't play a lot is like I don't want to get into a groove or a routine like, oh yes, this combo's gonna work and that combo's gonna be efficient. No, I like it random. I like playing mystery heroes in Overwatch. Like I just give me something and let me try to do good with it. Like in random like constraints and chaotic environments. Part of the reason why I like Overwatch was because of that chaotic environment.
Overwatch.
So I'm like, I'm letting it, like all the updates in Corporate Clash and in TTR, I'm just trying to build it up so I can come in and be like, oh, this feels refreshing again, kind of thing.
It's fair.
And I'm like, yes, take your time, make it perfect. if there's Michael asked me earlier while we were watching the panel, like, what would you like for like a nice, you know, quality of life thing? I'm like, make the game run smoothly. Like, just have it run, have it work well. And one thing that I kind of had a problem with back then when I was playing Toontown Online was that I was on dial-up, and I would like part of the reason why I wasn't also like focusing on the combos and all that is because my internet sucked. Like, I don't want to be in the middle of a boss battle, then I DC. That just breaks everything for me. Like, so that's why I'm more of a passive player and all that. It's like, is there some way if you can make something like someone DCs, like I can just somehow do something? Like, do I leave behind like some extra like gag up or something, or like, you know, like something to like even out the playing field? That's what I would ask for something like quality of life. Like, what if someone DCs, or if they have to go somewhere, like go to work, go to school, or something like that? I would love that. If like maybe it was still like in Disney Sound, like Toontown Online would add something like that. That would be great. Like how they added like speed chat phrases where you can communicate with people around the world. Man, I'm talking right now. I feel like this Gatorade's hitting. Like I'm getting my thought process, like in my my train of thought going right now. Thanks for the CFO run, I guess, because I'm not sure if I would have been like reaching out for topics like this.
Yeah, no, man. Anytime. CFOs are my favorite thing to do in this game.
For me, it's just stress, because
honestly, if you want stress, I would have thrown you in a BossBot CEO. That would have been a time at this time of night.
I can't even do that. So
yeah, me neither. I have to do like 4 back 9s or something like that.
I have to do far more, I guess, because I even have the suit.
Oh, you don't have the suit?
I don't even have the suit.
Oh, interesting.
Music's not playing anymore. Why am I still have that?
I think I've had the suit since they first released BossBot HQ. Or no, actually it was before that, because I don't think you could go there yet. I don't remember the timeline.
Were you able to see like the replay of the panel?
Honestly, I have not watched it. I don't know if I will.
Oh, okay. So I'm fine with just
tomorrow.
saying what happened and all that.
Go ahead, yeah. Wait, this guy's hitting the 12. This is a 7-8.
Yes, we're gonna do this all the mathematics and calculus. Yeah, that's what sort of turns off the game for me. And I'm like, if I'm gonna do that, I might as well be playing Overwatch, because then my mind's gonna be running at like 4,000 gigahertz. I just wasn't really that all into like strategy and all that. It's like my internet sucked, my computer sucked as well. I just wanted to just play a game and meet people.
Fair.
That sort of was the thing back then in the middle of 2008. And we're here in Cashbot HQ, so I might as well talk about a little bit about the financial crisis and how things were back then. It's like, yeah, that was like my outlet back then.
Always good to have a place to go. I spent a lot of my time playing TTO and R back in the day with friends on the street. Good times. Good times. Don't think I could play this game consistently anymore, unfortunately. Would love to, but...
Yeah, that's why, yeah, it's just like have them like add stuff, like have them build it up. Like, there's Corporate Clash for something more refreshing.
Yeah, I gave it a try when it was Altus. It's okay.
Altus, yeah. Wow. How years ago?
That was pretty long
It's just
time
like
ago.
Everyone's here just trying to do something, add their own spin and all that. And sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it's not easy. I mean, that's like what sometimes we find out. And then you also have to like cater to the audience.
Indeed. Let's see.
I'm here just trying to make sure, because we're running low in sound now. I'm just trying to make sure I don't hit any cog and anger someone, as I've angered my friend back then in TTL. I was like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And I'm like, huh? So, I had a bit of a falling out with a friend. It's like, why didn't you tune up this other person on our group, and I was like, well, she did it, or she attacked a cog when she shouldn't have. And it's like, well, you should have tuned her. Oh, I didn't know that she was going to do that. And then we got into this whole argument, and I got angry. I slammed my phone on the desk. And yeah, and
Dang.
now I play a lot of Overwatch and worked on that anger management. It's just like
Overwatch helps with anger management.
I trained with that game, with like how it feels like, try to like laugh about, like trying to like make it like not so serious. It's a game. It's funny. You look at like the replay and just like, you know, breathe for a bit after like half an hour. So you're like, yeah, you know, it's just, it happens. It's a chaotic thing.
Overwatch brings out my demons, bro. That's why I can't play it anymore.
I remember like hearing that at Shell Games that they would be working there and then just be having a fun time, and then they brought up that someone's playing Overwatch over there. I was like, huh, that's interesting how you bring up that game. I forgot how long ago that was, when I thought it was on the stream, talking about how things are. I think we're done here. Oh, y'all finished first. Nice, cool.
Yes, sir. Oh, do I actually do... My beat gets stuck doing back nines on stream. Oh, that's gonna be painful.
Ah.
I don't want to do this. Back nines, man.
I mean, would you do it like while reacting to like panels and stuff? I could get that prepared.
You know what? That would be an actual good idea to do, so I don't have to focus so much on the back nine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. Can I join your talent support team if I'm out of work at the right time?
Hey, if you're out of work, I think I'm. What time is the panel over? Because I'm gonna do it afterwards. Because that's the. Is that the last day, Saturday, or is
no Sunday?
Okay, so what? I'm trying to do it at a time when people are like heading back to their hotels, so I can get some more viewers in there and catch people who like want more TTR content.
It'd be 6 p.m. Eastern.
That would be, I think, 5 Central.
Yeah, just 1 hour.
All right, I'll do.
I'm gonna be running
5
around. You're running around with me? Okay.
Unless there's
Good
a
job.
crane out.
Good job getting that boon.
For selfish reasons, I hope this is okay.
Oh.
This guy.
we'll get no.
Somebody make this pretty long time for the mouse. I don't like their attitude.
Hey! No, we're gonna work with him. We're gonna make this quick.
The duality of man.
Who do we get again? Like what unite?
We don't know until the end.
Okay.
Like I'm just walking forward every few seconds while I'm looking at my phone. That's how hard this game is. Alright.
I remember when the CFO came, like the cranes or the magnets was like really cool. Like I wanted to try it. And then when I tried it, I was like, this is kind of hard, and but this is fun. This is cool. And then now
it's even worse.
Really?
It used to be even worse.
Okay. It's like, yeah, I'm doing the thing. I don't know what I'm doing. Dial up disconnects. Wow.
Honestly, give it a chance these days. It's a lot smoother than before.
Yeah, I think so. I was able to do one, but I don't want to do it. I want to talk about things. I want to talk about the panel. I want to talk about what's going to happen tomorrow. And I want my mind... That's like my attitude to these MMOs. Like, I can't play a World of Warcraft. I can't play Elder Scrolls Online. I could play maybe Legend of Pirates Online. Or...
Pirates.
Yeah, or...
Tomorrow's the big day, huh? I think, right?
I don't know what they have planned, but they're just going to talk about... It's going to be like one of the interesting panels, because they're just going to be like, oh, what they're working on for, I assume.
Oh boy, I can't wait for 5 years to go on the line.
I mean, yeah, that's sort of what... I mean, that's a realistic thing. But at least they're like showing something, like, you know, something to talk about.
At least they're realistic about it, not like Overwatch 2.
Okay, yeah, we can go talk about Overwatch all day now, can't we? So yeah, it's the idea of being realistic and having a good time now, instead of like, you know, That still hurts, by the way. Like, oh yeah,
It will
they
never
should
not hurt.
they should like this happen. I didn't even care about the PVE. I was like, okay. Like when they announced it at BlizzCon. Oh, a duality of man.
I got so bored of the main game after getting almost plat border and just doing the same thing, grinding in comp, getting high, getting low, going tournaments. Dude, it just wasn't fun anymore.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that happens. So I was playing. I was like, okay. My approach was like, there's a bunch of characters, a bunch of heroes to try their abilities. I'm playing mystery heroes for 8 hours. But that's how I just go about it.
Yeah, that's fair. Some people, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I never found mystery heroes too fun.
It's too many heroes. You could even get like the unlocked heroes in mystery heroes, or in custom games if you just really. Yeah. All right. That was a good CFO run. I have no idea what just happened. Shout out to all these tunes here who basically carried me.
Except for that mouse. Mr. Mouse did nothing. I want that to be known.
Rude.
I'm just kidding.
It's 50 tune-up. Thanks for.
Yay, 50 tune-up. I get to not have an excuse to let somebody die. I'm so cynical. I'm sorry. I won't be like this on Saturday, I promise.
It's alright. Yeah, I'm trying to do the talent support teams more. Not that I was like Sigmund Freudian slip. Oh, talent trees are gone. No, this was planned ahead. Talent support teams. Basically, this was an idea from the previous After Hours in November where Chris, you know Chris Rules, right? He was streaming alone, and then you had Winky's HQ, who had like a bunch of people, and it's like a stark contrast, and then Chris was like, yeah, you know what, it kind of sucks that how After Hours is right now. It'd be nice to have like more people like chatting or playing with him, because I feel like he just like was tired at the end.
That's fair.
On the main events for ToonFest for Charity, would have like his roommate or someone else playing with him, or even talking and just keeping a conversation going, like how we are doing so right now. And that's why I brought in like, oh, okay, talent support teams, like what they had for like the TTR or ToonFest online kind of thing, ToonFest from at home or something was what they called it.
Yeah.
And they had like a whole team just being ready to pitch in and talk more like a panel kind of situation. I'm like, yeah, why don't we do that? Why is it always like one person at ToonFest for Charity and they just play and they try to talk with chat, and chat can be dead because ToonFest for Charity only happens like only a few times a year. So I'm like, all right, talent support teams, but it has to be in a time where we cannot do marathons because the organization team is just going to be like completely sleep deprived and tired and angry to the point where we just have an outburst like, all right, this is not working out, I'm tired, and someone calls, it just falls apart because we're not taking care of ourselves. And that's sort of the reason
had that
why
happen on the Origin of Hope before.
Yeah, and that's the thing with like running online where everyone's just volunteers. You don't want to push them too much, and that's also the same thing for TTR. They had to do that. Also, the reason why we don't really communicate a lot with TTR or Corporate Clash as much, we tried doing it, but then we're like, we don't really want to tell them what to do, and like they have their own things going on. We want to stay like the community thing, like we'll just do this, and it's just something to do, some way to like celebrate. It's 20 years, Toontown. And we're like,
oh wow, really?
We gotta, that was us earlier. We're like, we should do something. We did After Hours in November. Let's do After Hours in May, and then here we are.
Hey, I'll do a big After Hours thing next year when TTR is old enough to drink. I will. We'll pour one out with TTR or TTO or whatever.
Oh,
well,
boy.
I'll get somebody. I'll get Lav. I'll find Lav and I'll have her see if I can commission her to make a little image of Flippy drinking a beer.
Wait, do you have my Discord stream open?
Your Discord stream? No, I don't at the moment.
Oh,
no.
okay.
I have your Twitch stream open though.
Okay, yeah, the Discord stream is basically a faster view of what I'm doing, and you could see all the other sources in my OBS studio.
Oh, okay.
That's how I streamed the panels to Michael earlier. He got tired and he had to go to bed. But that's how he was able to react in real time.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure if you want to do that too, but
I can. What I was gonna do when the stream ends tomorrow, I will just rewind it in YouTube and put it in a source in my thing here, just so then I can go back and forth and control the thing. But did you? As I know, Richie used to be in this Discord server. I don't know if he's. Can you put game level as streamer support or whatever you have the role as?
It's the after hours.
Yeah.
Where is?
So he can join my voice channel.
What's the Discord tag?
Game level.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did he actually? He got username priority? Dang. Yeah, he's on a username now, so it's just game level. Oh, I'm on a username too. Wait, when did they switch my username? What the heck?
Oh yeah, it's happening. It's happening now.
I
just
guess I got my username. Nice.
I still can't find game level.
He's in general. That's where I found him. Yeah.
After hours.
And he will be with me on Saturday. Then there's no way I could do this alone.
Yeah, that's what Chris brought up.
Yes.
Previous after hours, and I felt kind of bad. I was like, yeah, this kind of sucked for like well, it was an experimental type of thing.
It's fair, yeah. And I know
offline.
I might see if I can join Harry tomorrow if he wants somebody. Always like hanging out with
Where'd
that
these
guy.
beach balls come from?
I think they're like celebratory or whatever. There's not much going on in game, huh?
Kind of remind me of the after not the after the summer overlay. There's a beach ball.
I do remember that. You want to go to Kaboomberg real quick? Yeah, I'll teleport you.
What?
Kaboomberg. You're a TP to me real quick.
Kaboomberger? Daisy Gardens Incorporated? Kaboomberg. What's going on there?
Oh, you'll see.
What is this?
This is opposite Toonfest. I am a cog.
Where are you? Wait, what is this? I what?
Have you never seen this?
I've been living under a rock.
This is like endgame content.
When was this?
This is the result of your toonish behavior. I don't know.
How? Okay, I'll find out eventually how I get here, but thanks.
Hey, you gotta get the boss bot suit first.
Oh, no thanks. Get me out of here.
Actually, yeah, no, what you do have to.
Okay, you just all right. Walk through me how to get here. I
You gotta get all the resistance stamps. This is like the final thing you do.
And to do that,
then you take on that field office.
And how is it just a regular field office, or is it just very?
It's a 4-star.
It's a 4-star. Does Teacher have stats on like how far people have progressed in the game?
Oh. Probably. I mean, I've seen 140 laughers before in my lobbies.
This is cool. This is kind of cool. It's like, oh hey, you discovered the Cellbot HQ at Daisy Gardens. Oh, now Daisy Gardens is in the HQ. Yeah.
I came back when they released this for a long time.
When did this come out?
Very fun. I honestly don't remember anymore. I want to say last summer, but that does not sound right. I don't know though.
I missed out. My mind is still stuck in 2020. Like,
same.
What just happened? You know, kind of thing. And I'm glad the conventions are coming back. I kind of don't like crowds though. I saw Smirky's streams, like there was a bunch of people at the convention at MomoCons. Like, yeah, I think I would go here and I would search for where the quiet room is, like they had over at Anime Expo. I remember yeah, he was live streaming from the convention, and that was pretty cool.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. The most hype I've been about anything this week was that I found out Pikmin 4 was a thing. Like, I wish
Oh.
I could be as hyped about Toonfest, but I will try.
Have you played Tears of the Kingdom?
I still have the pre-order at Best Buy. I have to pick it up sometime. I have not had any time.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't play too many video games these days anymore.
Where am I?
Busy working.
Daisy Gardens Inc. Okay. So after the field office, it's just, yeah, you did it, kind of thing?
Pretty much. There's a cool cutscene.
Okay. How many hours am I gonna have to? That's the thing too. It's like
Yeah, well, you don't necessarily need to max the boss bot suit. You just need to at least get the parts for it, and then this is the next task line after it.
Okay. You've watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit, right?
A long time ago, yes.
Okay. I'm trying to get Michael, who's in the organization team, to watch it. I don't know. I eventually got him to watch Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Oh, those are great. I just like literally got done with like binging Better Call Saul season 4 at least. So.
Oh, okay.
Breaking Bad was peak. Better Call Saul is so good. Holy crap. Oh my gosh, it's 11:36. I should go. I gotta get up tomorrow pretty early. I didn't realize how late it was. All right. Well, I will see you when I see you then. I'll put it in the spreadsheet later. I guess that I'll be live at probably 5 or 5:30.
All right. Yeah. I think people at the East Coast or we're at the convention are also just winding down right now. Yeah.
Perfecto. All right. I will see you. Have a good night.
Thanks for joining me. I'll be part of your talent support team. I'll help you get set up and all that.
Cool. All right. I'll see you then.
I'll see. Maybe on the night before, maybe.
Gotcha. Okay. Peace.
All right, that was JosephTheToon. He was over at work, and he was able to join. He was we're thinking that maybe he could stream in place or around this time. I don't know what else to do right now. I just want to like maybe speculate what's going to happen tomorrow at What's Next for Toontown. They had that document. I feel like maybe they're going to do something with it. Maybe try to bring in or try to maybe complete the vision. I don't know. I just can't predict because it's very difficult to work on the game like this or a game in general. And it is getting late right now. I'm gonna have to go soon. I'm gonna bring up Toonfest schedule again. Our after-hours schedule is scheduled at TFFC.org. It's still being filled out. It might change. Of course, it might change. But that's it. I should have went ahead and said that people can donate. There's a donate button if you're watching on PC. On your phone, you're going to have to bring up the donate command, !donate, and then you can donate. We're still figuring things out right now. It's after hours, last minute changes, all that stuff. But yeah, if you're able to join in and catch up, yeah, I'm sorry we didn't have like anything extra for people to catch up at home. But yeah, that's what after hours is, just to get something going. Blah. There are mosquitoes flying in my room and I'm just trying to kill them. It is getting hot in here. I should stop screaming. All right. Tomorrow we're gonna have Harry at 2 p.m. Pacific or Toontown time, and maybe we'll talk about what's next for Toontown, about that panel, which happens about 3 hours before. Trying to do time zones in my head. Or 4 hours. Yeah, it's going to be early, basically, for us here on the West Coast. But yeah,